Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with another mod stream. This time, obviously going to be working pretty much entirely on our Mapcrap submission for Season 4, Episode 2. It's called the Crapitol, and I haven't done any more work on it since the last stream, so pack your fucking lunch, homie. We're going to be going in. That being said, this is where we stand right now. I have updated the tiles. However, I have not yet added these tiles to the current release build, which I suppose I could do since the actual patch is delayed a little bit. We try to resolve some technical issues, but the show must go on. The crap must continue to flow, as they say. So I guess it wouldn't hurt to run in real quick into the current live build and simply add these files. So that's what I'll do now. That way V can push his updated map and, you know, all that good shit. And other people can make use of it as well, if they so desire. So that should be sufficient. Go ahead and reopen the dev.exe for now. And I want to say we still need to add the brush files. So I'll do that. All right, that's up. So, where are we going to go with this? Well, as I wrote in the planning document from yesterday, I was able to figure out that we... there we go. I was able to write down a rough planning of everything that I wanted to accomplish in this map. And one of them is obviously... I wanted distinct sections for the three forces. So up here should probably be some sort of mining area, is my thought. We could probably rip some stuff from the desert tile set and move it over here, like those shanties and stuff. And in the middle, we've got the financial district, and down here is the market district. Obviously the bread lines and stuff like that. So because of this, we have to decide how we're going to continue blocking this area out. I think it's probably best that we start in the middle, but I'm also partial to starting in the section where the player actually is going to be playing from. So the problem is obviously constructing an area that's going to be somewhat believable is always a bit challenging. And one of the things that I'm thinking about here is we don't need to worry about it being massively believable as it's a Mapcrap, it's a comedy section or whatever, but I would like the initial area to feel constructed with some element of purpose beyond just being ransacked by real-time strategy scale armies. So I've got to marry those two concepts, and it's not the easiest thing to pull off, obviously. So these are just some of the thoughts that are going through my head currently. So, bearing that in mind, we've got to decide what kind of angle we're going for here. There we go. What's up, LUJJW? What's my end goal? My end goal is to make a map that somehow communicates the idea that you are space communists in a breadline fighting your financial masters in the middle, while some buttcoin miners in the north also besiege them as they are attempting to assault the very concept of fiat currency. It's a meme map, but that's what makes it epic, in my opinion. We got a lot of stuff that's like completely out of, how would you say it? There's not very much symmetry here, or like angular consistency. Like normally I would have all of this stuff be like the same level or whatever, and I might still change it later on. But when it comes to man-made environments, I'm a stickler for it being somewhat consistent. And that does feel like it's a pretty challenging thing to pull off here, with the rough outline that I've created so far. So that's something that I'm thinking about right now as I progress through this. I also don't really know how the mines are going to figure into this one. I'm thinking... So one of the thoughts that just came to my mind is maybe we actually have this as like a multi-layered level almost, where at the very top, where the buttcoin miners are, we would have them be coming out from a mountain, which is kind of similar to like, I mean, mines are usually not always in mountains or whatever, but sometimes mines are in mountains, so you could have that connection. But the question is, how do we blend that with the mostly urban environment otherwise? What's up, Patrick? Welcome. So I'm thinking like we have the mountain, we have the higher tier area. I'm probably going to need to blend dirt cliff with structure, which shouldn't be the biggest of deals, but will be an interesting fit. Because most of this area is going to get paved over after I'm done with it, with the initial stuff. I just have to figure out how I'm actually going to articulate these cliffs, because the biggest concern that I have anyway is that the artificial environments will look very chaotic and not very man-made or planned. And so I wonder if maybe I just lean into that and go crazy. Or if I decide to tidy it up a little bit later. But when you place down the tiles manually, as I've started to do with this asphalt coastal like water stuff over here, that always leads to some problems. So if you ever want to change it later on, it's a lot more of a headache. That being said, this map isn't really that big, so there's not really that much that would get in my way. I think maybe I decide to go for the concept here. We'll see where we go. So I'm thinking we probably want something like this. We probably don't want motorcycles, but we'll take them in the background anyway. Okay. I'm guessing that blends with something. Oh, I guess not. Never mind. All right, so now we've got our entrance into this area. It does immediately make me feel like this is a bit too claustrophobic, so we probably want to take this, for example. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier about the whole it being much harder to relocate some of these tiles than just painting it normally, because obviously these are all extended stuff, so don't play by the same rules, but it's not the biggest deals. We figured it out. And then I guess we need to pull this down as well. And that's not so bad. We just do that and it cleans up the general lines of sight there. This is still, like, technically out of sync or whatever, but this is at least a straight shot, and then we've got a bit more maneuverability when we come down that ramp. So, or go up it, whatever the case may be. Now, the other thing I have to think about is how I want to gain access into this area. So, obviously, one of the thoughts that occurred to me was throwing a ramp over here. And if we do that, that's a ramp. Should there be more? Should there be... I think this should probably come out and extend out like this. We create ourselves a bit of a different looking environment here. But we have to... Oh, there's a decent amount of room, I guess. We can do this. Okay. And then obviously we can slap our ramp pretty much wherever we want. Okay. Okay. So now we're starting to form the basics for where the avenues are going to be, the pathways. I definitely want this to be like an area where there's like maybe 2 bases or something, maybe one really big one for you to take. Will your ally be on the front line is the question. The other thing that I'm going to keep in mind here is that obviously the central player is going to be under the most scrutiny, being surrounded by 4 enemies for him. So while he is going to start off with at least 1 extra base, you got to bear in mind that he's going to be assailed from pretty much all sides. But I still want to add some avenues for different ways to get around. Like if you were, say, this top left brown player, you're one of the buttcoin miners, and you're trying to target the commies, there should be a path where if you take your, make the right move, you can get through this guy in the middle and attack these guys. And that's kind of what this ramp is telling me, is like, it's a nice way to remind myself that there should be some interplay between these 2 forces at the top and bottom, without necessarily needing that central player to die in order to gain access to that, although that will be a main component of it. So appreciate the follow. What I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on shaping the rest of the central platform that we're developing. And I need to figure out where the transition point is going to be from financial district territory, which is where that 1% motherfucker lives in the middle, and the Buckcoin miners up top in the mountain. So that obviously is going to be a little bit more organic, a little bit more chaotic. I can be a little bit more lax with my, what I alternatively described as like being a stickler for the rules or whatever. We can kind of be a bit more crazy with how we approach the block out. And I still want to provide a decent amount of real estate for the central player, because my thought process is basically if they are able to riposte the different attacks, if they're able to play defensively enough, maybe hold off one side of the map while killing off the other side, you might be able to actually, like, maybe they just mop up the north front from you and then they become the real threat. And then you've got to see if you can even defeat them. In theory, one player should be able to defeat even 4 players if he's got the right equipment, if he's got the right skill. So it's obviously not favored for him, but that's one of the ideas that I want to have, and I want to make sure that I'm equipping him, giving him the right tools for the job should he be able to express that. And it's only an AI script, but theoretically I can guide it in one way or another with some of the pre-play stuff, and then obviously I can make changes to the AI with like a custom build or something if I feel like it. So that should be possible. Let's actually dip this in a little bit more, because this is a little bit out of that guy's purview anyway. So what I'm thinking is I'm thinking we slap this down here this way that we've done. We need to fashion out where this is going, but this blend over here is so far away that it's fine to keep that in. Probably do something like that. And this guy can be a little bit further back. And then, do I want this man to start facing the right? Maybe he's got one base on the right, one base on the left. So it'd be something like this, maybe. Yeah, I think he starts over here, but he's got another base in that general vicinity. It'll look a lot more impressive when I actually get all the final art in, but that takes time. And right now we'll just use these humble cliffs to illustrate our intent. Where are we at here? That doesn't seem quite right. Looks fine, I guess. And these guys go in and come out the other side. So I'm trying to play around with a little bit of symmetry on this side, localize very much into this area, but easier on paper than it is in actuality. I think that's probably fine. You can play around with that from there. So this is obviously going to be a connector point where if you wanted to sidestep the 1%, you could go to the right and attack the miners. Or vice versa, they could also do the same thing. So I guess we'll start placing that stuff over here. There you go. We'll get fancy with it. Because what's the point if it ain't fancy? Perfect. And I guess that means we should probably slap a ramp over here as well. So I guess what we can do as well is we can play up that whole water idea with some... I like the aesthetic of you essentially having like a base that's along the water, so I guess that's where your ally can be here. But maybe I can also play it up down here a little bit more. So we can do something like this. I guess this could even theoretically be organic water instead of urban water. And what we could do is like, you know, you got a little bit of time to acclimatize to something a little bit more normal looking. And then as you progress up the base, it obviously becomes a lot more exotic. So this is like the onboarding time for your eyes. But we'll see about that. Just an idea for now. Okay, we'll do a bit of an outpost over here. I'm glad that for whatever reason I decided I didn't want the small ramps. I guess I can add these to the brush palette. So I have them handy if I need them again. Okay. Now, I guess we can start slapping down some more pavement. And we got to decide where it blends with the edge. So I guess what we can do for that is we can blend it with mud for now. And that'll be our placeholder, so to speak. So we obviously want like roads coming out of the map, implying a little bit more that there's a little bit more going on here. I don't know how successful it is, but I always try to have some sort of idea, inclination, that the map is just a part of a bigger world. And so you get the sense that, as you explore it, that if you could leave the map bounds, there would still be something over there. So it's not just some convenient battleground for you. But not sure about that blend or if it'll work out or not. We can always retool it later. This is still fine. We'll just leave these here as markers since they'll screw up our terrain otherwise. I'm sure I have something here. Do I really? Oh, here it is. It's just named something dumb so it's stupid in the organization. So we'll obviously make this look a little bit prettier later on, but for now, let's get those borders set up. Yeah, I guess it's fine, even though it's technically off-center or whatever. That can always change later. Obviously, we can copy and paste this down later on. So yeah, we're starting to see the grand plan come into focus, although it is going to take a little while before it's going to live up to anything. I guess you got a nice cross-section of different ideas or whatever, because what you can do here is you can say like, oh, I've got the half urban area where there's some asphalt, there's some what do you call it? More organic terrain. And the idea is you go up towards the center of the map, it's all urban, it's all man-made. And whatever nature is out there is like allowed to live there, you know what I mean? It's some preservation shit or whatever. Like those domes on Space Platform. And then you go a little bit further up, and it becomes a bit more organic and a bit less, what would you say? Significantly less man-made stuff, because it's a mine, it's a mountain. They just build whatever they need, but otherwise leave it as it is. So there's like a, I don't know if it's a progression, since it's almost going like from medium to high to low, but there is something there. What's up, Alexander? Have you come to watch me tile? I would say toil, but I'll say tile instead. Fix those later. Pretty good all around. We still got some pernicious issues we've got to resolve before we ship a proper Cosmonarchy patch. But shouldn't be a problem getting that done by the... Ideally, it'll be ready for tomorrow, because obviously their thought is we'll be able to play some games of Cosmonarchy, but if that's not possible, for whatever reason, we should definitely have it in order for the Mapcrap due date, we'll say. So everything should be functional and fine by then. I don't suppose you're too interested in participating in any current Mapcraps, Alexander? I know it's been a while since we had you send anything in. Oh, okay. I saw you send some messages in, I think it was Mark Time Strategy earlier, about that. It's starting to look like something. Might be a while. Did I make a blend for this? Let's see if I can find something here. Looks like maybe I only did that for one side. Now the thing is, I have no idea where in the tile set I've placed the other angles, so now I've got to go find those so I can add them to the... Oh, here we go. I can add them to the brush palette for all to use, most notably me in the future. Okay. So we know these ones on the right are the high terrain type. I'm wondering if I added asphalt for the highest height level. I feel like I probably did, but it's hard to know. I mean, I see ramps that go up there, but... Yeah, okay. Might need to... Definitely need to add that for this map. I feel like it should be possible to, when you hit the cut shortcut instead of copy, it should actually replace whatever you had selected with null tiles. But... fat chance of ever getting this program updated again. So, I think we're kind of shit out of luck there, guys. Have you taken a look at triggers from other maps that you know do work in this context? It's probably like the order of triggers, or there's some weird shit that happens sometimes. I'm trying to think about anything that, like, nothing really comes to mind as far as what it might be, but there, I know that I always know I have some goofy stuff happen with triggers, no matter what. So you might be able to find some sort of idea there. If you look at, like, for example, the Underwood, my map works in... I think it has a single-player allower, so... yeah, it should work in theory. I've lost the ability to select correctly, apparently. We'll go from this side. No longer shall trivial issues of selection deter me. Which reminds me, actually, I have to figure out what kind of characters I'm going to be emulating in the voice acting of this map. Recently, I watched an old Western called Godless. It's a series. You could call it like a TV show, I guess, but it's on Netflix. It's pretty good. I didn't mind it. Sure takes its time, but... thought it did pretty well for itself. I guess a store wouldn't make much sense out here, would it? Yeah, I think we just go back to placing the normal tiles in that case. Ah, malware bites! It creates pop-ups on my screen, just like other malware. Who would have guessed? Alright, I think we've got the basics down now. Or wait, I have to do this? I think I may have pranked myself. There we go. I hadn't thought about how I want to approach this side of things, beyond knowing that I wanted to block this area off from walkability. In a super ideal world, I would have structure that actually blends with this coastal water cliff that we got going on over here, such that I could seal it off completely. Now, obviously, there's some doodad I could throw down there to block the pathing, and it would work fine from a gameplay perspective, but it wouldn't really sell the idea the same way, so I'll configure it with our current limitations, and then if I have time to add some more tiles, I will do so at a later date. There we are. Guess we'll just complete the circuit that we've got going on over here now and then figure out where we go next. Probably place some resources down in the bottom and maybe for the 1% player as well. Would make sense. I still can't believe I had to correct Blizzard's spelling on one of these doodads. That's pretty funny. That's the Blizzard QA we're all so aware of. I did notice that there was a bug that we allegedly already fixed at some point that didn't correctly count buildings as structure or town centers as buildings. It only counted them as factories. So that was causing some issues, but I've already confirmed that that's no longer active in the game. So that shouldn't have been the trigger point, so to speak. I'm not sure why the elapsed scenario thing or time thing would be a problem, but it might be that like the trigger fires before the units are created or something. The problem is it could be so many different things. All right. I think we're getting there pretty easily. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I'm guessing they all say, like, only works with the Hydra game state or whatever. Voila! I guess I just have to paint this asphalt in the middle now. Then we can get to the fun part of placing mineral fields. Very exciting. Okay. So we have our outskirts here. I'll leave behind some structured tiles that I can use later. And I don't think I've added structure that blends with dirt, which is kind of unfortunate. But we can get by using some high dirt a little bit more over here. Because obviously I still want there to be some ways to change your height level in the middle of some engagements. Assuming any forces show up at some point. Okay. Could be a nice base right here. Base here, here. would kind of flaunt design convention to have a base down here in the corner, but it also kind of flaunts design convention to have so much of, I don't know if wasted space is the right term, but I would say it's negative space for sure right now. It doesn't have anything in it. So I suppose we could move this base a little bit further down and leave this as dedicated area for building and stuff. I guess that's another thought that I could do here is have there be structure here as well, but it blended with grass. But I kind of like the vibe of grass and high dirt together, and I don't yet have tiles that blend those, so it would be trivial to add. The major concern I have, of course, is with the arbitrary limit of how many groups you can throw into the tile set, which, as unfortunate as that is likely not going to change. So, I think we'll just make do for now. What else we got? That was my testing stuff. It was for, like, I think I originally had it in some scenario map that I was using, and if basically if there was there was some condition that would detect if I had a unit and do something different for testing purposes, and obviously that runs at the beginning of the game, so I just removed it. You don't have to bother carrying that over. If it's in some melee map, it's probably just because I copy pasted the triggers without looking, and obviously that particular thing never showed up, so not like I knew about it. Okay, time to go find the grass. It's kind of funny to me that grass has more tile variety than any of this stuff. What do you mean, the new maps? Or the new map? Oh, I guess you're talking about the new map I was talking about. Surely it was added. I mean, there's no reason for it not to have been. I may have just forgotten. I have in here. Oh yeah, look at that. It's missing. There we go. That's that classic add something, say that you added something, but forget to actually add it. There you go. It should be up now. Yeah, there was no reason for it not to be there. It's just me not realizing I hadn't sent it, I guess. So, cheers for letting me know. It's looking like I botched this. Amazing. Incredible software. Oh, don't mind me, I'm just right-clicking and hitting delete on every item in this area because I can't delete the whole thing at once. Nice. Thankfully, this is quite easy. It's not like one of those massive suites of cliff tiles or whatever. Looks like I didn't save my brush after placing these doodads in it, though. Unless I'm just not seeing them. But I don't see them, so... Looks like I botched that one, too. That's only kind of annoying because I have to go in and manually place the various doodads that have sprites in them. So, like... this one, for example. This is just to make sure that they're aligned properly. And this one's not even in this tile set. There we go. So we'll switch over to copy, cut, paste, take off all these. Go back to terrain for the rest. I do miss giving these names because I named I forget what I named the signs, but they were really funny. Those giant tiki heads. Alright, this time I won't forget to save. Boom. Now back to my terraining. So what about you, Alexander? You watch any good TV shows or movies recently? I'm looking for some recommendations. Woof. Okay. I'll probably add some flourishes a bit later, but for now, this is certainly serviceable. You know, one thing that watching that Western show, Godless, made me think about is that we got it pretty fucking good here in the 21st century. I mean, obviously, it doesn't mean we shouldn't aspire for better, but I just thought it was quite a. It was a nice reminder of, like, holy shit, you know? I could be working a farm forever if I were born in a different time. Could just get destroyed by some fucking roving outlaw band or Native American or something. Or a white man, depending on where I am. Yeah, having clean water is indeed kind of tight. I agree. Yeah, the number of times that in that show they just straight up like cup what looks to be filthy fucking streams of like mud water Made me quite uncomfortable. Not gonna lie, I was like, holy fuck. I don't want to do that ever in my life. Thanks. And there are some people who still deal with that now. Like, shit. I will count my blessings. Thank you, sir. Also will forever remind me, like, in all of these shows, and even, like, the more historical, like, historically accurate, we'll say, founded displays or whatever, it does remind you, like, you know, as bad as it was being, like, the average person, the people who claim that they're, like, systemically oppressed now or whatever, like, you guys should watch this show. Maybe get some perspective. Nah, imagine saying that watching a TV show will give you some perspective, but it'll give you something. Humph. Humph F. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, homie? Welcome to the grasslands. It's where your ass lives. Oh shit. I'm off center. Am I? Yeah, I am. Pranked. Ammo. Yeah, that's how I feel when I'm like furiously flicking between different areas trying to apply settings or whatever. What were you slapping together anyway? You don't mind my asking? Aha. Oh, you still got like the better part of a week if you decide you want to slap something together. If you feel particularly inspired. And it's hardly the only one that will be serving up anyway, so. Shan't be your last opportunity. Oh shit. I didn't see this one. Whatever will I do now? Besides furiously speed terrain it. Not very speedy, sorry guys. I'm feeling alright about how this is overall shaping up, though. I don't think it'll blow anybody's head off, but it's something. Try this one. There we go. We did it. Oh, fuck. Ugh. Guess that settles it. We'll be using one of these. All right. It's the time. We got about a half hour. Guess it's Mineralis time. Wasn't expecting to read that exact combination, mon frere. But I agree. Blizzard! Blizzard! Why? 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 Blizzard! Ah, Blizzard. Oh, Blizzard. Oh, fuck. I have to clean this up now. It's over. Jesus. Why is Blizzard a meme? At least it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Except it probably will be, but whatever. What the fuck? So I am impressed. I am impressed. All right, here's what we're gonna do around these parts. Buy. Oh, that's fine. That's consistent. Buy. 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 Beep. Easy. What's up, Veeker? I'll say so far, so good, but I got larded by Blizzard. So I'm fixing some cliffs. What even is this? Who made this? I don't even think you can fit a Zergling in there. Maybe you can. I'll try an Eidolon. You can fit an Eidolon. Oh, shit! Very valuable. Fucking crap. Hopefully that resolves some issues. I have to adjust the height values now. Do I even want to know? I can't look. I have no mouth and I must bit. Oh. I actually don't know if that's even doing anything. I think I have to do it for the whole thing. Owned by background noise. Okay. I didn't really change anything over here. Nah, bro. The QA department at Lard is so renowned for its efficacy that it other companies wish they had. Owned. Only problem here is I'm not so sure I can yeah, I'm not so sure I can do a mud. It looks like, yeah, I cannot. However, if I were to expand this grass out a bit, I could do it on the grass. There you go. Thinking with Lard. Only problem here is, I guess it'll just be a bit messy coming down. The things I do for my tiles. This will make placing crevices a little bit more complicated, but that's fine. Handle that later. Secondary detail, man. Where's my mud grass? I guess I never added it to the brush palette, because I'm a goofball. Surely it's here somewhere. Aha. You want to talk about carpal tunnel? I'll fucking carpal your tunnel. Operating is a strong word for this context. Really is a no-brainer how many improvements you could make to the brush feature, but I feel like literally every time I use this feature, I either say or think of a million different things I would like it to have changed or added. Boom. Owned. All that so I can place one town hall marker. The classic. And well, we still got a couple more minutes, so I guess I will continue working on some area. Not sure where yet. Oh yeah, I guess we can, well, let's close this down for now. Close that. I'm going to test out my changes to the pathing for the dirt cliffs. And if it works correctly, then great. And if I need to make more alterations or changes, then less great. But I will do it anyway. Yeah, okay. That seems reasonable. Apparently we didn't change this, which I thought we had. Okay. That would actually be totally fine if this tile didn't somehow slip by us. Oh, it's like that because these side tiles down here have them. That is why. Easy to fix in that case. Yeah, the problem is, I don't think that's even something that we have control over. I think that's entirely on SI to parse the tile set data correctly, basically. Or correctly. However most accurate and useful it would be, basically. Alright, we don't need to bother with these inner tiles or blends. What we need is, yeah, we need these to be fixed up. And there we go. Boom. Boom. I haven't even looked at water, but hopefully they're not larded. I think I fixed them actually a long time ago, but I've done it for so many different tiles. And obviously it doesn't help that jungle and Badlands I have the same water and like coastal dirt cliff and actual dirt cliff. Boom. Indeed. So where do we want to go from here with this map? I haven't really gotten that much time, so I think I'll just bail out here after I take a quick look at what the map's been shaping up to be like. However, we've got some coastal stuff that I'll probably clean up a little bit later to make it a little bit less crazy. We've got this giant complex over here, which looks crazy-ish, but it doesn't, like, besides maybe up here or whatever, it doesn't really like look like a complete disaster. So I definitely need to shape this area. There's one base that will be over here, but I've got to be careful with how I plan it because this is also a really high frequency, I would imagine, high traffic avenue. This pathway goes straight from the commies to the buttcoin miners, so we got to be aware of that. If we block it up with like a base like smack in the middle, that would obviously be disastrous for pathfinding, assuming it was taken. And then we've got to decide how we want to assemble this area, how heavy we want to go on like pre-placing defenses and stuff for that 1% player. I know he's going to have at least 2 bases at the start of the game, so it's going to be pretty novel. And we've got to figure out what we're going to do with the buttcoin miners. Those guys are obviously going to be on a mountain or something, which means I'm going to have dirt cliff blended with structure, which will look interesting. But I think it'll still look okay. It's basically like the idea is that they just built the stuff around the mountain. I did want to smooth out some of the rocky elements of the cliff at the bottom, and then like change all that stuff up. But no. This is the swamp water. This is jungle. Jungle has swamp water instead of regular. Sets it apart. That's why it's like down here you can see it's the same color. Yeah. I think aside from the blends for structure into dirt cliff, I'm going to need asphalt into higher dirt. Like, I don't know if I have that blend already added to this tile set. I haven't found it yet. I haven't gone looking yet either. And then I need to probably add some more blends later on. But I'll be experimenting with the new urban tiles from DF in this central area, which is going to be a manually placed fucking mansion. Yeah, so the thing I'm thinking about right now is we don't have too many maps that actually blend like the urban thing or whatever, because we didn't have that many assets to use. So as I stated in my planning document, like one of the goals is that I wanted to explore the urban tiles DF made, and then I made grass structure blends for one of Veek's maps, so I can use those too, which is what I've already started to use. Now, one of the things I wanted to do was make every force have their own like distinct thematic. And my idea was that you're down here, you're in like the market district, the shanty town, whatever, and that's caused you rise up of communism. So you're space commies. And then these guys up here are in the mines. They're in the mountain. They're the Bitcoin miners. So they're coming in here to attack fiat currency. And then you got the financial district in the middle. That's where the 1% lives, Wall Street, so to speak. So I'm kind of playing around with those like very goofy ideas or whatever. But the excuse that it's going to give me is it'll allow me to attempt to make every area of the map its own distinct element. Now, obviously, this is a bit of a wacky map in terms of its layout so far, and the fact that you're going to be fighting through an enemy to get to your other enemies. So, yeah. One of the other things that I'm going to play around with as a gag is that, like, you're probably not going to have too many resources in your main because commies don't have many resources. You know what I'm saying? So I might even, like, remove some of these mineral fields or whatever as part of that storytelling through gameplay. But I'm not sure. I also don't know who your ally is going to be as far as like a character, since that's Zerg here. I don't know if I'll throw in like a Cerebrid or something controlling that one, since in the Cosmonarchy lore premise, Cerebrids are actually a human invention. Could be an excuse to experiment with that idea, even if it is like again a goofy premise. You can still experiment with some stuff that you intend to use seriously. That means I'll probably have to have some throwaway names for a lot of these characters, because I don't expect... Like, one of the things that is kind of an interesting thing to think about is, like, obviously Ahmed makes an appearance on a lot of these maps, or as, like, a concept he's referenced a lot or whatever. But if you decided to throw in, like, a serious character, like if Goska showed up in a Mapcrap, like, maybe it would be fine for Goska, because I'm... Like, in Consummate's so far away from the current release date of, like, where we're at right now. And then the odds of me being able, like, actually doing another project with him, at least in the immediate future, are kind of slim. So that would actually probably be fine, like the same with Strawlium or whatever. But the idea of if I were to use, like, a comedic character, or a character in a comedic premise, and then use them in a serious project later down the line, I don't know if it's just me, but it does feel a little like... You lose something when you use them in a comedy project, in my opinion. You lose something there. Maybe that's not actually the case for most people, and I'm just overthinking it. But I always felt a little bit of reservation when I was thinking about like using a character I intended to use seriously, or considering like, hey, here's this character that I made for a comedy project. Could I use them in a serious context? I always that feels even less likely to play off very well if you were to if the character's genesis was in a comedic project that wasn't meant to be taken seriously, and then you ended up making like a spin-off project or something with them that was taken more seriously. That feels a bit weird. So I don't think I'll be doing anything like that. But it, now that I've said out loud like Goska and Stralium or something, I don't think they'll make an appearance in this map. But maybe later on in a Mapcrap, I'll throw them in there as characters since they have some. I don't know about fan appeal, but people know them. They have a recognition status. I certainly hope nobody starts clapping when they see them, but there'll be something going on there. I gotta make more tile variation for fucking structure. Shouldn't be too hard. I think around any of these ramps, around any of the ramps into the complex, I want to immediately show the player like some of the urban stuff, and I think that will play out pretty well, generally speaking. Yeah. That's like the red letter media line. I clapped because I know what that is, or whatever. That was the thought that came across my head, like the line when they're talking about some Star Trek show or whatever, where there was Red Letter Media was reviewing this shitty Star Trek show, and they were talking about how bad it was, and they said that there was like a line that said that was, "Please, my friends, choose to live," and and Mike from the show just goes, that line was so badass I cried, and it just destroyed his co-host, which is pretty accurate. It's like taking the piss, bro. All right. Well, we'll figure out what to do. We'll place some urban tiles next stream, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, the patch is still not out right now. Hopefully, we can resolve the pernicious issues we still face in time for Fraud Archy tomorrow. If not, there's always days in the middle of this coming week that we can use for the sake of smashing shit together and playing some games. I guess aside from that, I don't really have much to say. So we will indeed leave it there for now. This has been the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, Alexander, when you finish updating your maps, just feel free to post them and I'll throw them up. And not in the gross way. Bye.